Hey folks, my name is Ted Bost. I'm a licensed therapist in Idaho and Utah. Today I'm going to tell you about a conflict resolution format that I've used many, many times working with teenagers, working with families, working with couples. And this is a format to help sort out conflict and see other people's perspectives. Okay, and the format has an acronym called VOMP, VOMP, that you can use to remember the different steps. Um, the steps are vent, ownership, walk a mile in the other person's shoes, and make a plan. Okay, the first one is vent, V. This is when people vent whatever is on their mind. This isn't a free for all. You can't just unload on the person. You want to use an I feel statement to share your grievance or express whatever's going on. And after each person gives their I feel statement, the other person is going to do what's called active listening, right? And it might feel a little contrived, it might feel mechanical or slow. But when you're doing conflict resolution, slowing down the tempo of the communication is a good thing. When a conflict is being discussed and the rate of speech increases, that just means people are going to get flooded and overwhelmed and they're not actually going to get anywhere. So it's good that it's structured and slow. The sharing I feel statements and avoiding you statements. You did this, you did that, you're so lazy or messed up or whatever. That's the goal there. After one side goes, another side goes, and they give their concerns or grievances or their perspective. And the side that went first, they do the active listening also. Okay, the second step is O. That stands for ownership. Ownership means each side in the conflict takes ownership for whatever their role in the conflict might be. Maybe someone says, "Oh, well, I made some assumptions about you that were untrue," or, I choose to kind of dwell on something in the past and use that to make sense of what was happening in present time. And that really led to some strong emotions. Maybe someone takes ownership for blaming or whatever it may be. In my opinion, the best conflict resolution kind of practices, what people will naturally go into that ownership part while they're doing the voice part, and they'll kind of naturally go into it. That's when people are really engaged in resolving that conflict because they naturally fade into that ownership and they see what the person's saying and they kind of take ownership. So know that that's a good thing. If you don't think there's anything you need to take ownership for in the conflict, I kind of don't know what to tell you there, right? Because if you're in a conflict with somebody, there's definitely something that you can take ownership for. So that's an important piece to reflect on. Okay, the third step is M, walk a mile in the other person's shoes. This is where you practice some empathy, right? Maybe you say something like, "Oh wow, it must be really hard to feel like I'm preoccupied with work," or "You must feel overwhelmed with the things that are going on and really want to have support from me, and it must be hard not feeling supported." So whatever it may be, you just want to try to empathize with that other person, see what it's like being in their shoes from a genuine standpoint, and try to empathize. I've done some exercises where people have been kind of passive aggressive when they do that empathizing. If what comes up is something passive aggressive, you need to go back to the vent because there's still things you've got to get off your chest that you don't feel heard about. Okay, and the last one is P, make a plan. Well, it has to be something within their control, right? Really, the best plans are let's do another VOMP or let's do another conflict resolution exercise to kind of talk this out. It's not uncommon that when you have to do a conflict resolution exercise, you don't just do one and things get better. You're going to need to do a lot. Then what happens over time is that people kind of start to integrate the communication skills that are made explicit in this format into their kind of day-to-day more normal communication so that people talk about these conflicts more regularly. They're not so charged, it's not so heated, and they're able to kind of sort things out on the fly, and they don't have to like stop their whole day, sit down and have this like structured meeting to do the conflict resolution. Folks, I hope this is helpful. This is a lot of information. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. I've done this a million times. I've watched my colleagues, other professionals do it a million times. I've even watched teenagers do it with each other and be successful. So it's a great format that can be really helpful. Go to shoulderseasoncounseling.com. If you have any questions, like, subscribe, share this with somebody if you think it would be helpful. Okay, take care.